Hi, welcome back to Numerix Video Blog. I'm your host, Jim Jockle, with Paul Rawati, Director of Research at Alphacution.
Thanks, Jim.
Paul, we've been talking about the spend and the investment, software, hardware, opportunities as it relates to infrastructure as a service. So let's talk about the spend, right? We're seeing an enormous amount of money being invested, but also we're continuing to hear ongoing cost-cutting initiatives and things of that nature. So where is the tipping point? At what point does this investment start turning into cost savings, and you start seeing some of that trend in terms of overall efficiencies and performance based on these investments?
Well, what's difficult in it's net cost savings. There's so much skill shift and portfolio shift that it's hard to determine so our process is I'll make an individual model of a bank, and then I'll do that over and over and over again with different banks, and I roll that up into a composite model so I can see how the landscape is shifting for this profile of the ecosystem. Now, it happens to be a very, very important profile because it's some of the biggest buyers of technology and solutions among anybody. I mean, as you referenced in the previous video, I mean, a JP Morgan or a Citi or a BAML, we're talking multi-billion-dollar tech budgets per year. At this stage in the modeling, it's difficult. You may have serious cutbacks in some business units, but yet a need for aggressively new investment in other areas of the business so that you can't detect it when you build a model. We're actually developing new analytics to try and get down more levels. What we can observe so far is that there is a ton of investment in the horizontal, in the enterprise play, if you will, because there's so much more enterprise monitoring and enterprise level reporting that's necessary for new rules that have all this alphabet soup, the Basel, the MiFID, the Dodd-Frank, even the KYC, know your client, the whole new supply chain monitoring and management has an enterprise context to it, which is causing massive shifts in legacy infrastructure, which is with new agile infrastructure versus new enterprise development, so that at least the new software capabilities that sit on top of that changing infrastructure satisfies these regulations.
And yet you're talking a multi-diversified financial institution. You're talking, investment banking, wealth management, asset management, different needs.
Yeah.
Is there a single platform that's going to cut across, or is it still investments by business units and even managing just Chinese walls?
I've argued for a while now that the special sauce actually goes higher in the proverbial stack. In other words, as the plumbing and networking and storage and compute and the location of stuff becomes more democratized and commoditized, that becomes ripe for some kind of partnering, hybrid, outsourced. You no longer want to be in the business of proprietary manage, of commoditize and democratize functionality. You want to move that out and move your investments for custom development and proprietary management higher in the stack, where you're dealing with information design, service level, the point of contact with your end user and your clients. That's where your special sauce is going forward, not in the management of the plumbing. So now it takes time because there's a lot of teams in place that are managing legacy infrastructure and legacy installations. There's a lot of fragmentation of application infrastructure. That takes time to unwind, especially at large organizations. But that's really the fulcrum that I think is consistent across a lot of these organizations in terms of how am I going to deliver more value to end users? How am I going to penetrate further into the business while at the same time trying to diffuse the cost pressures? That has to come out of these lower levels. Does that get to your question?
Absolutely, Paul, and thank you so much. We're going to be right back, sitting in our conversation with Paul Rawati, Director of Research at Alphacution.
Thanks, Jim.